Okay, playing around some of these larger pieces here in terms of, oh, I don't know, I guess the incorporation of scale into, there's always been scale in stamping, but I don't know. This is like on an entirely different level. Okay, so 8.5, let me see what it is. 8.5 inches. We there's not too many stamps that are going to be 8.5 inches long. Uh, in I don't know any genre, but in the scenic stamping space, definitely, except for the Seaside Cove, if you know that one, 139H. But that one was kind of designed to be a foundation for imagery and kind of a platform to be built on, as opposed to like a tree or something like that. Just kind of one component. I mean, a tree could be a foundation too, but for the most part, it's you're using a tree in a landscape situation, so you need kind of a platform to put it on, be it a meadow or something like that. But on something like this, going from top to bottom like that is kind of a luxury and something that we just haven't seen, too much before. Okay, this is a smaller version right here, so we're working some scale in here. I should use these two and then go with like an even smaller one up there. I was thinking about putting the cabin with fence in here, which would be kind of cool too, but oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll play around with this one too. So, people have asked me about sequoias before, okay? Giant sequoias, something like that. And I've mentioned before that you can use something like this, but I don't know. This is like truly, I don't know, something really big. Let me see something right here. Let me go a little bit higher up with this one. And then we'll go with the smaller version. And like I said, I'm not quite sure. I need to check again and see which one of these has been released today at the unveiling of these. But let's go with this one right here. Okay. It's more like a stamp sketching type of thing right here. But can you imagine? I'll do it on this one. I'll put that little deer down there and the doe, and then we'll have our sequoia, giant redwood type of, situation here. So let me go much higher up here and mask off the bottom portion of this. Okay. Or should I go with the tree trunk trio in here? Huh. Let's just go with these ones right now. And then I want to add in some, I'll finish this off at some later time with the coloring on here. But we can have a kind of real kind of a walk through the giants with this one. I have a quote stamp that says something like, "In between two pines is a doorway to," is it another universe or something like that? I can't remember. But you throw in like a little character down there, like this, and we're dealing with scale. One of those trees that has, I don't know, what is it, 30 feet, circumference or something like that. I don't know. There's trees out there that are really huge. And that would be kind of fun to play around with. Okay, so just adding the sedge filler down below. There's not really so much grassy terrain underneath these kinds of giants because of the canopy up there, but we'll just use that as a little foundation right here. And let's see, we can go with this right here. Let's go with, really push scale here. And we'll put this character down here. Like this. One of the first discoverers of this forest, maybe. Going to do it like that. Can you imagine that? I don't know. That is insane. I haven't been back to the sequoias and that area since I think I visited those in California when I was about, I don't know, 5 or something like that. I haven't been back. I need to get up there. Let's see. Okay, I'm still going to add in some foreground here. Okay. Just to kind of break up the bottom portion a little bit. Okay, I'm going to use scale within the foreground as well, so like that. The incorporation of the large and small. I never thought that my tree trunks would be small, but in relation to something like that. And again, this is like the size of my normal tree trunks and tree trunk trio. It's on a 2 by 4.5 inch block, but kind of small in comparison. I don't know. They say that perception is by contrast, right? So suddenly, on a half-page scene, you have these stamps that can kind of dwarf, our half-page types of formats like that. So I don't know. That's some pretty fun stuff, and it's just kind of interesting seeing some things that you haven't seen before. In this case, in terms of scale. So let's play around with this a little bit more here. Let's see. Tree trunk trio here. All right, so let's go with this right here. Truly a foreground type of element like that, like you're looking right through the trees into this forested terrain. I usually have these. Now see, this is as high as this can get, so I've always put this much higher where you can see, the trunk down on the forest floor, going into the forest floor, because if you had it like this, these things would end right there. So they'd be cut off, right? So I've always mentioned that you always have these types of things going off the top of the page. Now this one, let me see if this one will reach right here. And it does. Okay, so let's go a little bit more into the interior here. So get a half page, piece right here, 5.5 inches, and it covers that span with no problem. So it's one of those things. I mean, if we're going to do these things in the foamy format, I talked about it with Capian. There's just no real use to put these images in the same scale as that, already exists in rubber form. We might as well be taking advantage of the format of larger pieces, for, again, kind of a variety of different types of applications as well. So, all right, let's go roughly right here. Okay, so I mean, you can see on something like this the detail of the rubber and smaller sizing as opposed to the laser cut larger pieces. But with the larger pieces, with the foam, you can go big and you'd be coloring it in anyways, I presume. I don't see too many people doing just compositions anymore. Just with black and white. Some people did that back in the day, which is cool, to do. They just like composing, just stamping things out in black and white and just leaving it as is. So I don't know. A lot of people like grayscale. Okay, so filling in right here with some additional texturing. Okay. And like I said, I'll finish these off at a later date. Sedge filler stamp right here. We wouldn't want to have a, 8-inch sedge filler or something like that, right? Some of you might want, I don't know. For something like that, I would design a completely different stamp, though, for that format. You know, when you get stamping with these, I don't know, it's like, I find that, I mean, I haven't done it a lot, a couple times so far. I'm just kind of playing around with these, but I'm not really thinking about it being on a sponge anymore, as I'm doing this. Where maybe the first, I don't know, few impressions, you're pretty, I don't know, conscious of it. Just from the, I don't know, kinesthetic feel of that, but I don't know, you just kind of get used to just, I don't know, stamping away like that pretty quickly. It does seem kind of strange, though, when I think about it, but I don't know. As I'm doing it, I find that I'm not really thinking about it anymore already. Okay, so that is in there like so. Let's add in a little creature, maybe. One of the things I show in one of my videos is, when you're stamping things that are standing in grass or some sort of substance, water, something like that, what you do is you wipe off the bottom of the feet. You can wipe it off completely. I like to wipe it off pretty completely at the very base, and then kind of a little bit less going up the legs, so it looks like it's standing, whatever you have is standing within that substance, okay? So it just makes it look like they're not standing on concrete or something like that, or just hard packed earth, whatever. And just gives you kind of a better representation of that, whatever texture that's in there, especially if it's water. If it's water, you kind of wipe it off a little bit more straight and then kind of dab off. And then you have a little bit of that shadow where it looks like, you can see their feet under the water. In this case, they're going into the grass right there. So again, so scale. So in relation to that, I should brought out my, let me see if I have my trees right here. I'm still unpacking from the convention. The convention from this weekend. Okay, so in relation, here's the normal size imagery, and we have it like this. So this one was going like, like that here. So quite a bit of a difference in scale. And like I said, I don't really consider these to be very small stamps. This is a fairly large stamp at, 4¼ inches high in this case. So I don't know. It's, it would be ideal to use these in a kind of a comparative type of situation like this. You have these smaller ones in the background now, where these used to be definitely foreground imagery, but I don't know, if you had those larger ones, then you can use those. In addition to, okay, so there we go right there. So look at that. Yeah, it's an interesting surface. I always wondered how they did it. I assumed it was some sort of kind of laser type of situation, which I guess it is. So you have this laser kind of cutting around all of those little details in there. I don't know. It blows my mind when I think about it. Okay, so that is that. trying to think if I want to add in anything else in here, which I could do later. But, maybe put a mountain behind there or something like that. I can go with some mountain texture. Isn't that crazy? It would definitely just be texture in the background like that. I'd mask off that. Let me see. I'd have that kind of showing through. If I do that, there's going to be some solid areas right within this tree right here. And I can just do it like that and mask off this area and just get a little bit of a punch of a texture in there. Let me try that. I'm going to do it in just a lighter shade here. Okay, so let me try something out here. I'm just going to utilize the bottom portion of this, and let's see if we can kind of transition this a little bit in terms of tone, like we can do with rubber. Okay, so I'm wiping off this. I probably used like way too much ink too, because it's kind of, it's absorbed, you know, it's absorbent in here, where normally, you know, you're putting it on rubber. So if you wipe it like that, you're wiping off, you know, a definitive amount. But on this one, it's hard to tell what's been absorbed into past the surface of the foam. Okay, there we go. See that right there in the background? A little bit of that mountain texture. Looks pretty good. Let me use some of that out here, and I don't know, see this down here? I'm just going to go like this, use it on its side to get that going in the background like that. So color in like this and do, you know, some little effects in the background like that for your distant object, imagery, I should say. But, all right. So, playing around different imagery, playing around with scale, and really kind of taking advantage of the format. If you have some larger pieces like that, I think you can really add some drama into your pieces. Now, as far as usage goes on a quarter page, you know, not really, you know, just, you know, several gigantic stamps, you know, it's really not kind of designed for that, but you can certainly use certain portions of it that were, I know, kind of unavailable to us before in terms of just the sheer amount of scale. So I don't know, remains to be seen on something like that. But like I said, you can always use smaller portions of larger designs. And I don't know, this is kind of the extreme kind of version of that, maybe. So I don't know, lots of things to play around with and push. I don't know, depth, scenic depth within the pieces going forward on probably half-page pieces and above like that. So could open some doors for us. I don't know. Going forward, we'll have to see just the different possibilities and what that additional scale can bring to it. I think it could bring something pretty dramatic. You know, this is just kind of playing around with two compositions and, you know, a couple different designs so far with the trees here. So I don't know. It looks like it could be a pretty dramatic addition to, I don't know how you would put it, to the, I don't know, the capability of your, you know, of our pieces here. Just in terms of scale, it's just so more extreme. Now, there, you can put a big deer in here too, and that's, you know, these don't have to be these gigantic sequoias or something like that, or you know, you put something in here that's really big, a big bird or something, you know what I mean? Something like that, and suddenly it's not. But I don't know. But on the other hand, like I said, the possibility is there, so it just opens up the possibilities for us in terms of whatever the scale that these objects represent. Okay, so anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.